Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Game Changer. I'm Mariam Ziad. The ever evolving dynamics of our region are changing, and this is paving way for new collaborations. In today's program, we will be talking about such an important and groundbreaking collaboration that is between Pakistan, Uzbekistan, and Afghanistan. And this is about the railway network project that the three countries have signed in the recent times, and we will be talking about the geo-economic implications of this groundbreaking project in today's program. We will also be talking about Pakistan's bilateral relations with Uzbekistan as well, and when we talk about different collaborations and regional connectivity, what would be the challenges when we talk about implementation of such an important project. To discuss this and more, we are honored to have been joined by Uzbekistan's ambassador to Pakistan, His Excellency Mr. Aybek Arif Usmanov. Welcome to the program, Your Excellency.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you for inviting my embassy.
Walaikum salam, and thank you very much for joining us in today's program. So, Your Excellency, you know that in recent times and earlier this month, on 9th of July, elections were held in Uzbekistan, and of course, the president, Mr. Shavkat Mirziyoyev, was recently re-elected as president of Uzbekistan with overwhelming majority. Let me start by asking the basic question that what is the response in your country and how this is being perceived and received internationally, and also tell about some of the important policies, because we know that he introduced very important new Uzbekistan policies. So what are the updates on that as well?
Okay, first of all, let me thank you for your very good question, and this is very important that in the neighboring for Pakistan, brotherly country like Uzbekistan, election, the first referendum in April and then election after 2 months have been completed in very smooth and very well organized and very stable situation. The current leader, President, His Excellency Shavkat Mirziyoyev, has confirmed again his, as you mentioned, overwhelming majority support. It's more than 90% of voters have been supporting the changes in amendments in the new constitution. And of course, when the president has been going to the alternative elections with the 3 other candidates, very decent candidates, of course he has shown that his support and of course his overwhelming support is there in the country, which is located in very important part of this world, Central Asia and South Asia, neighboring with the brotherly Afghanistan. And of course, when we say about that regional implication and the global implication, yes, you are right that amendments in the constitution and the election of president itself, they have confirmed that the people in Uzbekistan, who are the first and foremost address is giving the mandate for its leader, are supporting the new strategy of Uzbekistan, which means that first of all, that will be internally it will be socially protection-oriented country and business friendly, investment friendly, that be the connectivity friendly. We say the connectivity friendly, the country which will be integrated and connected with all neighboring countries. First of all, 5 neighboring countries, and also would be as the hub for the transit and economic corridors between the Euro-Asian countries. So Uzbekistan is using its location to be well connected as well for the Euro-Asia, as well as the Middle East, and of course to the neighboring China. This strategy of the reintegration and connectivity, this was the main topic of a main issue for the new amendments of constitution and for as the outcome of the election. it gives the opportunity for the new mutually beneficial projects of reconnectivity of Uzbekistan and Pakistan, and of course involving all neighboring countries.
Of course,
So,
that is very important, Your Excellency. And when we talk about Uzbekistan's standing, of course, Uzbekistan has been actively trying to engage regional partners as well as international partners. Can you elaborate on some of the important projects when we talk about regional integration, specifically about when we talk about its connectivity to the neighboring countries, like you mentioned earlier as well?
of course, first of all, as soon as my president in 2016 has assumed the powers, he has started the regional connection with all neighboring countries of Central Asia, including neighboring Afghanistan. And as the second stage of this strategy in 2021, my president has initiated a very important geopolitical and geoeconomical project as the connectivity of Central Asia and South Asia, in which the main game changer project, of course, would be, inshallah, the Trans-Afghan Railway Corridor, meaning that from the Uzbekistan border city Termiz, the birthplace of Hakim al-Termizi Rahmat alayh, we will connect via Mazar-i-Sharif, via Kabul, Logar, and then to Kharlachi, Kohat city of Pakistan. And of course, that the great game changer project definitely gained the support and momentum, and we are grateful for the government of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, which again confirmed to be as the strategical partner of Uzbekistan to implement this project. And Alhamdulillah, that implementation of that project is going stage by stage. And of course, our three countries, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, they have reached a very important agreement on the route of that railway corridor and the modalities and the technical modalities, which been recently signed in Islamabad. And I do congratulate all the brotherly nation of Pakistan, the government of Pakistan, and expert community. And through you, if I may also send my best facilitation on that starting of that project to the whole Pakistani public.
Of course, and when we talk about economic cooperation, of course, that holds immense potential when we talk about Pakistan as well as Uzbekistan, because Pakistan's strategic location is very important. And like you mentioned, Uzbekistan is also located at a very strategic location. And this railway link is very important when we talk about connecting South Asia to the Central Asia as well. But when we talk about economic cooperation, what are the sectors that have immense potential of cooperation between the two countries?
Of course, trade, export, import, investment, technologies, education, and industrial cooperation are the main dimensions where our countries has found mutually beneficial and win-win solutions. As coming to the trade, the 2021 in Tashkent, we have signed a very important transit trade agreement, and in 22 in Islamabad, when my president, His Excellency Shaukat Mirziyoyev, has made a historical visit to your great capital, we have signed the preferential trade agreement (PTA). That these two agreements, they have given us the traders from the both sides. They have given us the excellent opportunity for the expanding and diversification of the mutual trade. And there are just some figures that if 3-4 years back, only 30, 40 million US dollars trade gap was between our two countries. Now we, alhamdulillah, last year, for example, during 1 year, we have reached 250 million, and only in 6 months of this current year, starting from January to June of this year, we have already registered again the 60% of increase, where bilateral trade in 6 months only has reached 163 million US dollars. It shows that we have a great potential, and this is not a coincidence. It was the logical step by our two governments when in the joint ministerial commission held in this February in Tashkent by the two sides, two government of our two government, we have reached an agreement on the signing the roadmap on increasing the bilateral trade to up to 1 billion, which is very ambitious, but is a very doable project, taking into account that current figures that and great political will is there, great interest is there, and the most important is that the private sector of two countries are happily and actively engaged in this trade. And of course, industrial cooperation roadmap is now on the process of consideration by the two sides, the two relevant ministries of the two sides, and that industrial cooperation in such areas like textile, pharmaceutical, and chemical, in the housing, construction, and of course on the electrotechnical and agricultural sectors would be, I think, very most beneficial dimensions and the projects for the two countries in the years and months to come, inshallah.
Of course, inshallah. And when we talk about potential, of course, energy cooperation is another key area. So are there some plans in which Uzbekistan is planning to export energy as well, and for ensuring and contributing to the regional energy security, and especially to Pakistan?
The energy cooperation is going on the two tracks, two ways. First of all, of course, it's the LNG, which you already mentioned. Uzbekistan already started to export the LNG production via Afghanistan, and that process will be growing by the days and months ahead. And second, of course, is that the power supply, energy power supply, when we're saying about the transmitter lines, which Uzbekistan already has provided electricity for the northern parts and the central parts of neighboring Afghanistan. We are covering it more than 50% of the energy needs and electricity of the neighboring country. We already, and my president initiated a new project from the Pulikhumri, from Termiz and Pulikhumri. We are suggesting to extend transmitting lines, the power and energy lines, to the neighboring Pakistan, and this project also has a very good potential for both sides, and hopefully it will be considered and detailed processing will be done by the expert level and then government level of two countries, inshallah.
Of course, inshallah. And when we talk about Pakistan's relations with Uzbekistan, of course, there are historical and cultural ties as well. So how do you see the future of people-to-people contacts between the two countries? And also, my concluding question would be, how do you see the future prospects of Pakistan's relations with Uzbekistan?
Alhamdulillah, that our two countries are having a very solid and historical legacy of the two countries, two nations. When the Saihun and Jaihun civilization that currently rivers like Surkhan Darya and Amu Darya of the historical Mawr al-Nahar has been portrayed by some Arab sources. And Harappa and Gandhara civilizations of the Pakistan, they've been always having a direct links and trade caravans been always going from Samarkand and Bukhara and Farghana via Afghanistan to Dai Khan, to Peshawar, to Lahore, and Multan and Bahawalpur. And of course, there is a great heritage between our Naqshbandiya silsilas with the tariqat of Qadriya, Suhrawardiya, Chishtiya in brotherly Pakistan. And the Silk Road, which we know that it was always poured by the pilgrimage by the two sides. So, as well as the mausoleums and majmu'as and maqbaras of such leaders like Imam al-Bukhari, Imam al-Termizi, Zamah Shakhri, and of course Marvinani is very well known in Pakistan. The same that we are always interested to visit Uzbek tourists are always interested to visit uh, Peshawar, Lahore, Islamabad, Multan, Bahawalpur, Karachi cities, Islamabad, and other many cities where we have a great legacies, great common legacies of the Zaharuddin Babu and his grand like Amir Taimur. So, taking into account these things, we hope that the air connectivity, the road connectivity, and inshallah that uh, rail connectivity by railways, it will make a very conducive conditions, terms and conditions for the people-to-people contact,
Of
business
course.
business contact, and education-to-education contacts in the very near future.
Of course, that has a huge potential. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador of Uzbekistan to Pakistan, Mr. Aybek Arif Usmanov, for joining us in today's program. Of course, in today's program, we talked about Pakistan's relations with Uzbekistan, but we will be exploring the recent Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Uzbekistan rail track project, and what is significance, how this is going to be impacting the geo-economics of the region, but after a short break. Welcome back. We will be talking about the multifaceted aspects of Pakistan, Uzbekistan, and Afghanistan railway track project. And of course, when we talk about Pakistan's connectivity, Pakistan provides shortest and the most economical route to the Central Asian states, especially to Uzbekistan. So to discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by Mr. Humayun Khan, who is expert in international affairs. Welcome to the program. And we are also joined by Mr. Shahyar Khan, who is expert in international affairs. Welcome to the program. Mr. Humayun, let me start with you. When we talk about this important signing of agreement between Pakistan, Uzbekistan, and Afghanistan railway track project, how important this is when we talk about regional connectivity that Pakistan keep on emphasizing upon, and specifically when we talk about this project, what is the significance of this rail project?
Thank you, Mariam. I guess as Ambassador was telling us earlier how this particular region, which is at the crossroad of Eurasian landmass and then Central Asian, South Asia connectivity, and was less integrated in the past, but with the efforts of the current leadership in both the countries, we we have been embarking on certain different projects. This is not only this one particular project, there are multiple other projects as well, which is going to create a massive network of rail, road and other infrastructure which will connect more people. So this particular project is going to create more than 5 million jobs within the region. Around 10 different population centers will be connected and they will have massive economic uplift. Around 15 million people overall will benefit once this project is completed. And this is not only one project. Within this one project, there are like 3 more projects on the same. For example, you have an international highway which is Mazar-i-Sharif, Kabul, Peshawar, bypassing this Salang Pass. Then you also have Kasa 1000 project. We have spoken a lot in your program in the past as well. Then we also have a power line which is passing through Surkhan, Pulle, Khumri and Kabul and Peshawar. So all these 3, 4, 5 different projects will connect each other, not necessarily separately, but will have like a connecting effect, and massive amount of people are going to benefit. This region, which has been one of the most least integrated, obviously Afghanistan had a security issues in the past, and now we are still seeing that there are some issues, but obviously there's work going on between neighboring countries. But once it's settled and issues are settled, I guess Uzbekistan and Pakistan, which are, by the way, strategic partners as well. We are one of the few countries with which we have strategic partnership agreements signed. So I guess if we continue working together, Central Asia and South Asia connectivity vis-a-vis Pakistan and Uzbekistan via Afghanistan, Iran and other Central Asian countries will create massive amount of infrastructure and people-to-people connectivity, and business models are changing all around the world. And especially when we are now in the second phase of China-Pakistan economic corridor, and we want to expand that from Pakistan to Afghanistan to Iran and to Central Asia. Uzbekistan is one of the foremost partner of Belt and Road Initiative. So if we could able to connect these projects, I guess future is very bright for the two brotherly countries.
Future is very bright for the 3 countries and for the region as well.
Absolutely.
But Mr. Humayun, like you talked about, not only about this particular railway project, but other transportation and infrastructure development projects. A lot of projects are going on, but there are certain challenges as well, logistical challenges as well, and funding and other challenges as well. So how do you think that 3 countries, when we specifically talk about this railway project, are going to collaborate and overcome those challenges?
I guess the recent ceremony, which was just held in Islamabad a couple of days a week before, there were international financial institutions were invited, including World Bank, ADB, AIIB. All of them showed a lot of interest because this is a very feasible project which is going to cut at least 40% of the distance between the neighboring countries in terms of the freight charges. It's also going to reduce 20 to 30% of the cost. So in order to see the viability and feasibility, I guess this is one of the most lucrative project for international financial institutions. So right now, after signing this agreement which was held in Islamabad, now the negotiation is how to finance this project. There's already Termiz and Mazar-i-Sharif line exist. Now from Mazar-i-Sharif to Kabul, Logar and Kharlachi, Kohat, Peshawar, we need to connect that as well. This is around 4 billion.
This is we are going to extending the existing infrastructure.
Absolutely,
project,
yes. And that's basically the financial viability, and also the security issues needs to be discussed. And the expected finishing timeline which they have suggested is 2030 or less than 2027.
2027.
So if we could do that within 2027 or even a year or 2 plus minus, I guess this is still going to be a win-win situation for the region.
Of course. So, Mr. Shahriyar, when we talk about regional integration, 3 countries are collaborating on this important project and other initiatives as well. So, do you think this has potential to invite other neighboring countries on such projects, such infrastructure development projects, and what would be the challenges, and are these countries going to be reaching out the neighboring countries to extend these projects?
Mariam, that's a very interesting question. So even if you look at the geographical location of Uzbekistan, it's very interesting because
landlocked.
It's landlocked. A lot of other Central Asian countries are also landlocked, but Uzbekistan is the only country in Asia which is double landlocked. So a double landlocked country is landlocked and surrounded by countries which are landlocked.
Afghanistan is also landlocked.
Landlocked, but single. But like Uzbekistan is double landlocked. So to realize the actual potential of Uzbekistan and for economic growth of Uzbekistan, is very important that Uzbekistan and like the surrounding countries as well, they develop these networks and get access to the ports that are available in Pakistan, like Gwadar port, like Port Qasim, like Karachi. So it has to be connected to realize the full potential of Uzbekistan and the products and the access that it wants to Central Asia, to Asia Pacific, and that is like possible through Pakistan. Uzbekistan also, as Humayun Saab mentioned, sees Pakistan and Uzbekistan have a strategic partnership, and Uzbekistan trusts Pakistan more as compared to Turkmenistan and other options that are there. Other than that, when we talk about the CAREC project, the Central Asia like Regional Economic Cooperation, that also has like around 25,000 kilometers of railway tracks, but these are not enough. You know, these are not enough to realize the potential.
When we talk about CAREC also has a railway strategy. So is this going to be extension of CAREC railway strategy, or this is different from that? And can the objectives of CAREC railway strategy and this particular initiative can be aligned in some way, because funding remains an important issue when we talk about such initiatives?
So CAREC was mostly funded by the Asian Development Bank, and obviously there are like a lot of synergies that can be created between the CAREC project and this trilateral country project as well. But we have to like keep in mind that the changing dynamics and the changing geopolitics of this region are also like very important. So the whole trade volume between China and even Europe has like increased many folds, and the oil, the gas and the natural resources that are available in the Central Asian countries, that has like really boosted the trade in that region. So even under the CAREC, there are like 25,000 kilometers of railway tracks. They're not enough to basically handle the volume that can be taking place over there. Other than that, the whole regional dynamics in terms of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has also like moved Russia to look east and southwards as well. And when we talk about financing of this project, there are like a lot of like potential, funding opportunities, and a lot of like regional countries, as the question you asked, are showing interest in funding this project. And the two main countries, Kazakhstan is very interested in even funding the project, and it wants to join this project as well to get access. Other than that, Russia is like also looking southwards. It's looking at Kazakhstan, it's looking at Iran, and trying to develop a north-south trade route, which will also like go through this region. So there are like a lot of like opportunities that are emerging. Asia Infrastructure Bank, the World Bank. Other than that, even the Development Finance Corporation of the US, they're also like viewing this project with a lot of interest.
Right, of course, that's very important. But Mr. Humayun, when we talk about this important railway project, Pakistan is going to be providing shortest and economic route to Central Asian states, but specifically to Uzbekistan as well. And recently you visited Uzbekistan. When we talk about Uzbekistan's policies, like they are, of course, we know that this is a landlocked country, but they are moving to land-linked country. So what measures they are going to be taking, and how do you think that Pakistan can collaborate on some of the initiatives that Uzbekistan is going to be implementing, because we know that they are working to diversify their economy in the context of Russian-Ukraine war as well, right?
You know, there's a very interesting question, and it leads to another question. The current leadership of Uzbekistan, which just took over in 2016, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, he couple of months ago started new constitutional reforms, and being a very young dynamic leader of a 35 million strong Uzbek nation, which has a very proud history, and they're very much close to Pakistan as well. We share a lot of common interest within each other. So what he did was, with these constitutional reforms, he brought Uzbekistan out of this Soviet protectionism which it used to have, and now it's like a very open, liberal new society. There are many opportunities for tourism. There are many countries which are like willing to invest, particularly China and European Union are like very much interested in terms of like having massive investment there. And Pakistan and Uzbekistan, as I was telling you earlier, we signed strategic cooperation agreement a couple of years ago, and both the countries and both the leadership, the current leadership in Pakistan and the current leadership in Uzbekistan has this view that we need to connect Central Asia with South Asia.
Of course.
And the shortest route is Uzbekistan Uzbekistan, Afghanistan and Pakistan. And also, since we are part of Belt and Road Initiative, I guess these two different initiatives and the ideas that these leadership have a massive potential of changing the nature of this region. As Shahya was mentioning, there's already exists 25,000 kilometers of railway network, but somehow the connectivity within each other, different models and economic system within different Central Asian countries, these are the potential dangers or the potential impediments. Once we will overcome that, and if we could use Gwadar port, we could use Port Qasim, we could use Karachi port, that's the closest link for Uzbekistan to bring European products or to bring other products of Central Asia via Iran, via Pakistan to these ports and outside to the international world, and then vice versa if they want to import something. So this question that, landlocked country, if it become land linked, and the link is Pakistan, Uzbekistan, close strategic partnership.
Of course,
if we continue evolving on that, I think there's a massive chance that we will increase the potential of trade with exists between the two countries in the coming years.
Of course, and that is very important when we talk about connectivity. So what sectors are going to be most affected when we talk about this specific railway project, and how do you see Pakistan's relations with Uzbekistan evolving when we talk about implementation of this groundbreaking, I would rather say, project?
There's massive areas. Pakistan has an agriculture economy, so what we can do is we can export a lot of our agriculture project. And now that we are getting into the second phase of China-Pakistan economic corridor, we are going to bring industrialization within Pakistan, and then the idea is to export the revenue that we will export the product and earn revenue. So tourism is one sector, petrochemical is one sector, engineering sector is one sector, light engineering is another one, ceramic is another one, and oil and gas is something which Uzbekistan is also abundant in its resources. So I guess if we could merge these two together and bring Afghanistan, Afghanistan is also a linchpin within these two countries, because that's the area where we have to pass. There's huge, massive mineral sector in Afghanistan, and Pakistan, with this help of China, and Uzbekistan, obviously with the help of China and other Central Asian countries, can focus on developing this sector. And once you have logistics available to you, if you could reduce the freight to 40%, if you could reduce the distance to 20 to 30%, I guess that's the message. For example, a container from Uzbekistan, when it reaches Karachi port, would cost $1,300 to $1,600. Same if it goes to Iran or any other places, would cost $26,000 to $3,000 per container. That's almost half. So that shows the viability of the location and the distance, and also on top of that, the strategic partnership cooperation which exists between the two countries. So I guess this is a very win-win situation.
Of course, this is an important win-win situation for three countries and for the region as well. But when we talk about actual implementation of such projects, the situation in Afghanistan remains a challenge. Do you think the security situation in Afghanistan is going to be a factor that is going to maybe hinder the implementation of this project?
So, Mariam, I agree with Humayun Sahab when he basically says that Afghanistan is the main linchpin when it comes to connectivity between Central Asia and South Asia. Other than that, if you look at the positive side, Afghanistan is also seen as the heart of Central Asia as well. So Afghanistan, peace and stability in Afghanistan is very important in terms of a lot of factors. When it comes to financing, World Bank and a lot of international multilateral institutions will be very reluctant to invest in a country where the leadership of that country is not recognized. So that is one of the first steps. Other than that, there are other interoperability issues that are being discussed right now when it comes to practical implementation of these projects. These projects in Central Asia historically have been very Russia oriented. So they're railway tracks are very different as compared to the tracks that are being used in Pakistan. So this railway track system, the locomotive system, the physical infrastructure that is there will have to be altered or developed in a way that is compatible with Pakistan's railway system as well, which is also very old and needs massive upgrade. So even in the CPEC project, the ML1 railway project is being initiated, and the railway projects historically that are there in Central Asia, which are like very Russian in nature, they have to be connected. Otherwise, all the transportation will have to like stop at Afghanistan, and then the wheels of the railway, they have to be changed to basically go into the Pakistan railway system. So these are like some teething issues that will have to be resolved if we want to like take it on ground like forward. Financing is another issue. The feasibility reports from Uzbekistan are placing this project at around $4.5 to $5 billion. According to Pakistan's estimates, it costs like around $8 billion. So this financing will be very important on who's like interested and who wants to see it. The feasibility is like there. The economic benefits are there. So it shouldn't be a problem in terms of like getting the access and the money. The biggest issue I see will be coming from the security angle in Afghanistan, and that would obviously be very important to make the region more stable. Other than that, technical resource. So Afghanistan doesn't have the technical resource or the engineers to basically develop this railway system. So will Uzbekistan or Pakistan will have to like play a very key role in developing this. So these are like some of the issues. These issues can very easily be resolved. Peace and security, stability in Afghanistan is the key.
Of course, that is the key. But Mr. Humayun, when we talk about regional connectivity, can you elaborate Pakistan's Vision Central Asia strategy and how this particular project aligns with this strategy? Because we know that basically aims to connect Pakistan with the Central Asia.
Yeah, well, I'll come to that in a minute. I'll just add what Sharyar was mentioning. Security is perhaps the main issue as of now. Afghanistan needs to be stabilized, and within that framework, SCO is already working on an Afghanistan contract group, and Uzbekistan and other Central Asian countries, Russia, China, Pakistan, Iran and other countries are basically focusing on how to stabilize that. The other two issues are already addressed in terms of the railway gauge. It's 1520 mm, which is starting from Termiz and ending in Peshawar. So that issue has been resolved. And then another, in 2018, Uzbekistan basically set up an engineering training institute in Tashkent, where the Afghan engineers are being trained so that they could work on the problems which Sharyar was mentioning in the coming days and ahead. Vision Central Asia, where Pakistan has been for a very long time aspiring to extend its not only trade but economic people-to-people contact and tourism, because Central Asia has a very long historical ties with this region. Ambassador was mentioning about Amir Temur and the Bukhara civilization, another which has very close linkages with Pakistan and this entire region. So I guess within that framework, we want to expand China-Pakistan economic corridor. We want to have our relationship with Iran, Afghanistan and all the Central Asian region. And we started this in last couple of years, where Central Asia and South Asia needs to be connected, and all these projects that we were discussing are basically joint efforts of the Pakistani strategic planners and visionaries, that Central Asia is an untapped potential for Pakistan for a very long time. Despite the similarities between religion, culture, history, we have always been going either towards Europe or to other areas, and this was not the attention this was not given the attention it should have been given. So now with this new vision, and both the side, it's not only Pakistan, it's basically the Uzbek leadership as well.
Of course.
And now we've just also heard that today with Azerbaijan, we have also signed an agreement of buying LNG imports as well. So I guess this renewed vision from the Pakistani side and the help we are getting from the Uzbek side, this will facilitate these implementation of these mega projects. As of now, they are in the infancy. But there is a massive work which has been going on. Agreements have been signed. The planning process has been started. So I guess within next a year or two, and if Afghanistan security allows, I think we will be able to see the fruits of the planning that we are doing for the last couple of years.
Of course. So it means that not only Pakistan but Uzbekistan and neighboring countries are also diversifying their partners when we talk about economic integration. We see that Uzbekistan and other states in other countries in Central Asia have been applying some economic reforms to attract foreign direct investments. So do you think this particular project is going to be helping Pakistan in attracting foreign direct investments, and what other reforms can Pakistan implement for attracting FDI?
That's absolutely very important. And the main area which basically should be focused on is connectivity. So Pakistan has been doing that. We have laid a massive infrastructure for last like 10, 15 years. Our energy needs, which were like earlier were going down, now Pakistan has almost achieved its Vision 2030 in terms of our installed capacity. We have laid a very massive networks of motorways all around the country. Our ports are coming up very quickly. Gawada port is under massive development as well. And the focus is on connecting those ports with Central Asian landlocked countries. So with the investment that we have already paid in the infrastructure, now the idea is to have connectivity via Afghanistan or bypassing via Kurram highway, via China and then Central Asia. So I guess we are like exploring all the routes. In terms of making ease of doing business, there's a lot of effort being put by Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Foreign Relations as well. And we are now attracting a lot of foreign direct investment from other countries as well. We had faced 1 year of like massive economic challenges, but those times are over. Prime Minister has said, Information Minister has said, and Finance Minister that the issue of default which we were facing for last 14 months is over now. Now the Chinese are willing to invest here. They were always been very close friends. The Central Asian countries are willing to come here and invest. These massive projects that we have just signed recently, this shows that the economic prowess of Pakistan is coming back. So I guess we just have to wait and see and hope that the election procedure and political stability continues in Pakistan, and once it's there, next couple of months and a year, you will see that we will bear the fruits of the planning that we have done in last 14 months.
Of course, and when we talk about this particular initiative, this is going to facilitate the movement of goods as well as people-to-people contacts are going to be enhanced. So when we talk about border management, are there some particular measures that are going to be implemented for smooth cross bordering of people across the borders, because we see there are a lot of issues. So this particular project, is this going to be a priority?
Oh, absolutely. Border management is something that we have been discussing with our Afghan brothers and counterparts. But once this Trans-Afghan railway project is implemented, there's going to be a proper mechanism where you have visa regime implemented. Right now, Uzbekistan and Pakistan has been discussing of facilitating the visas between the two countries. Air links are supposed to be established very soon with Azerbaijan. We've just recently started Karachi, Lahore and Islamabad to Baku and other places. With Tashkent and Lahore and Islamabad and Tashkent, this is also about to be started in next month or so. Negotiations are already done. Visa regime between the two countries has been massively discussed with the Foreign Office, and I guess we are almost close to an agreement. And once that's done, there's going to be a lot of traffic coming in and going out between these two countries. And particularly when the railway thing would be there, it's not only for the freight, but it's also for the people to people, and you will have proper checkposts. We will have visa issues within these countries, and we need to work more on facilitating this people-to-people contact through education contact, through media, through businesses, through Chamber of Commerces.
Of course, because there is a history when we talk about our relations with Uzbekistan, with Afghanistan as well. So let's talk about trade diversification, because that is also very important when we talk about economic growth. So how do you think, what are specific markets that would be opened for Pakistan after completion of this particular initiative?
So right now,
specifically in Central Asia,
even right now, the trade between the Uzbekistan and Pakistan, it involves major sectors. So there's like textile, there's like raw material, yarn. A lot of Pakistani pharmaceuticals travel to Uzbekistan as well. Other than that, there's like a huge market in Uzbekistan in terms of like Pakistan's fruits, vegetables, and Uzbekistan obviously is very cold in the winters. So it has like one season in which it basically develops agriculture. So during that time, Pakistan can basically export a lot of like vegetables and fruits. Other than that, there's like a lot of technology in terms of technological cooperation that can take place in terms of like digital, which is like very important, and that's like one area that is like being discussed as well. In terms of like air linkages, Humayun Sahab mentioned that it is like underway and the discussion is taking place. For me, that is like the most important, because when it comes to cooperation in terms of economic terms, people-to-people contacts are more important, and this is how basically businesses connect with each other, people connect with each other, and various new sectors in which there can be cooperation that can be also dependent. So people-to-people contacts develop business-to-business contacts. Right now, it's unfortunate that even to travel to Uzbekistan, you have to take a 6-hour flight either to Istanbul and then another 5-hour flight back to Uzbekistan. And this connection or this flight between Pakistan and Uzbekistan should not be more than 2 hours direct. So these connectivity issues are very important in developing contacts, which could be in the range of education, it could be tourism, it could also be students coming from both sides. Other than that, research opportunities, think tanks should be connecting with each other, and business to business, chambers of commerce, like doing trade shows and connectivity. That's like something that also
of course.
needs
And
to be worked on.
lastly, briefly tell us about Pakistan's connectivity initiatives and its impacts on its relations with not only with Uzbekistan and Afghanistan, but with other Central Asian states.
So now the whole regional dynamics, they're like in a constant state of flux.
Of course.
So this is like changing every day. Now this region, especially with the China brokered peace between Saudi and Iran, that will have positive impacts for the region, for Pakistan-Iran relationships, and this whole like connectivity network which is emerging, be it CAREC, BRI, CPEC, all of this is like going to put this whole region into a spotlight. Russia looking eastwards, China looking to expand. The Central Asian republics for the first time are seeing a market which is like outside their present area of influence. So they are now for the first time looking at expanding their markets as well. And as you mentioned, and Humayun Sahab was also mentioning, that these are the countries which historically had a very pro-Soviet stance. And their economic models were very different. And now with the whole regulatory changes in these countries, and their economic models are like expanding and more liberalization of their markets, they will have to like expand and like find newer frontiers for their products and raw materials that they can play a very important role in the economic integration of this region. And this is like happening right in front of our eyes. In the next few years, we will like see a lot of like positive changes in the region.
Of course. Thank you very much, Mr. Shahyar Khan, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Humayun Khan, for joining us in today's program. Of course, in today's program, we talked about regional connectivity that awaits us after the implementation of Pakistan, Uzbekistan and Afghanistan railway track project implementation. And of course, this is not only going to facilitate and enhance trade relations between the participating countries, but it has the implications for the region as well, and its implications, geo-economic implications, cannot be overstated, and this has the potential to be a game changer for the region. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care. Allah Hafiz.